Good evening. You're watching the news on Croatian television. Economy Minister Martina Dalic and Agrokor's government-appointed crisis manager Ante Ramljak testified before the Economy Committee in Parliament today. Ramljak was grilled over the process of hiring consultants and advisors after reports surfaced that Agrokor was paying huge sums of money to local subcontractors of AlixPartners, the lead restructuring consultant. Ramljak said that when he stepped in, he was pressed for time and chose people he believed were competent and he could trust.
If we had followed the legislation on public procurement to this very day, we wouldn't have consultants for restructuring. The process wasn't ideal, and I admit that. At a given moment, a million mistakes were made, and I admit that as well. I am sorry that the perception is wrong in this case. If I were in your position, I would probably think the same. He took the money for himself. I have told you that I am prepared to face the consequences.
Committee members questioned Minister Dalic on the issue of who drafted the crisis management legislation, arguing that it was tailored to suit the interests of predatory investors.
Your question as to who wrote this legislation is very simple, and I have already answered it a number of times. I am the primary author of this legislation. All of the provisions were written as dictated and checked by me or under my direction, because I am the relevant minister and this difficult problem falls within my purview. And I wouldn't wish it on any of you that in your jobs you face this kind of difficult problem, a problem that threatened to throw the Croatian economy back into recession.
The Agrokor issue was also discussed in Parliament today, with Most leader Božo Petrov saying that it was clear that nothing would happen because Prime Minister Andrej Plenković has refused to address the issue for days now.
All of Croatia knows today that only one actor in this issue is content, and it is clear that the Prime Minister, through his silence, is trying to make out as though nothing happened and everything and everyone is okay. But in reality, there are only two acceptable choices ahead of him. Either he will say publicly that he didn't know and sack those responsible, or he will say, I knew all along, I'm to blame, and I'm tendering my resignation. Broad accusations here against the Prime Minister and us as MPs says more about you than about us. And I hope that I did not forget to mention that Most also supported the crisis management legislation. If there are any illegalities, I call on you to make the evidence available to the competent institutions.
Children often hide under the blankets, close their eyes and believe that things are not happening. The Prime Minister does not have the right to hide under the blankets and allow others to face the light of day and speak on this issue. The responsibility is on the Prime Minister.
In other news, according to Eurostat, industrial production in the EU in December of 2017 grew on a monthly and annual basis. Croatia, however, registered the biggest year-on-year decline in industrial production at 2.5%, followed closely by Luxembourg and Denmark. Romania, Slovenia, and Sweden registered the biggest growth. Opening today's cabinet session, Prime Minister Andrej Plenković addressed his visit to Brussels yesterday, where he met with top EU officials to discuss EU policy of concern to Croatia and future enlargement.
Croatia is viewed as a country that has a very important role, with its experience and its proximity to all 6 countries that are engaged in the enlargement process, which are all either our immediate neighbors or in our neighborhood, and that role is to serve as a link, provide an impetus, an exchange of knowledge, but also that we point out that all of these countries must be assessed on the basis of their individual achievements and their meeting of the criteria.
The Homeland War Widows Association has sent an open letter to President Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović in response to her remarks during a news conference alongside Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić during his visit earlier this week, in which she referred to protesters against his visit as politically marginal individuals.
However, if you already have labeled us as marginal, then we ask you, who do you feel are the elite? Are they the deserters, the war profiteers, the political peddlers and chameleons, those who sold off our national wealth, those who betrayed our national interests, or those who evade paying their taxes and then pose as humanitarians? It is inexplicable that you speak with such contempt for the very people who made it possible for you to reach your position of prestige.
Veterans Affairs Minister Tomo Medved also commented on the Vučić visit, saying that he fully expects Vučić to fulfill his promise of concrete cooperation with Croatia in finding the remains of those still listed as missing from the Serbian aggression.
We expect that ultimately his visit will provide concrete results, that we will receive the documents that were discussed, which are crucial to us in finding those still missing from the homeland war.
Taking a quick look at sports and the Olympic Games in Pyeongchang. 3 Croatians participated in the women's giant slalom today, with Andreja Komšić finishing 32nd and Ida Štimac 34th. Unfortunately, Leona Popović fell mid-race and sustained a severe knee injury. She will be out of action for at least 5 months. American Michaela Schifrin took the gold medal. And now the forecast for tomorrow. Predominantly sunny on the coast and in coastal areas. In the interior, morning fog will give way to partly cloudy skies and a chance of some light rain or snow. There will be some sunny spells. The Adriatic will see an intermittent moderate northeasterly and northwesterly. Morning lows of -9 to -3 degrees Celsius inland, 0 to 5 on the coast, will give way to highs of 1 to 6 degrees in the interior, 8 to 13 on the Adriatic. The 3-day forecast for the interior calls for slightly warmer temperatures and overcast skies and the odd shower or snow, especially in the first half of Sunday. More sun is expected on Monday. The coast will see cloud cover with rain on Saturday, primarily on the northern Adriatic, spreading to the rest of the coast on Sunday and limited to the southern coast on Monday. Expect strong to gale-forced northeasterly winds with a chance of hurricane-force gusts on Sunday night and on into Monday morning. And that wraps up the news. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night.